Vexkel of the Corinth Collective had studied 14 dead worlds. None felt like this one. The sky above old Earth was a dusty gray. No birds flew. No insects buzzed. The silence was so deep it hurt Vexkel's hearing organs. The Corinth were archivists. They collected the final records of extinct species. This was their saddest work. Vexkel's four legs moved slowly across cracked soil. The ground had not felt rain in thousands of years. Ahead, a metal door stood half buried in rock. It was old, very old, but human writing still showed on its surface. Vault 7, do not open alone. Vexkel opened it anyway. That was the job. Inside, the air was dry and cold. Artificial lights flickered to life. The vault was huge. Walls covered in screens. Floors made of glass showing frozen bones below. Vexkel's tail twitched nervously. So many bones. Not just humans. Wolves. Bears. Large cats. And others. Skulls that looked almost human but not quite. Bigger brows. Thicker jaws. Vexkel activated the central console. Holograms bloomed in the dark air like sick flowers. The first images showed early humans. Small groups. Thin bodies. They hunted deer with sharp sticks. Normal. Vexkel had seen similar on 100 worlds. Then the images changed. Humans hunting giant elephants. Not for food. The bodies were left to rot. Then humans hunting each other. Then humans burning forests. Then humans crossing oceans to kill animals that had never seen a two-legged hunter. Species after species vanished. The holograms showed dates. Every few thousand years, 10 species gone. Then 100. Then 1,000. Vexkel made a sad clicking sound with its mandibles. Destructive, it whispered. Like a disease. The holograms continued. Other human-like faces appeared. Heavier brows. Shorter legs. Stronger arms. Vexkel recognized them from old data. Neanderthals. Denisovans. Floriensis. Humans had killed them too. Not in great battles. Slowly. Quietly. A stolen child here. A poisoned water hole there. Until only one kind of human remained. Monsters, Vexkel said out loud. The vault seemed to hear. A new light appeared. Red. Pulsing. A voice began to speak. Deep. Slow. Human. You are not the first to call us that. Vexkel froze. The voice continued. We did not keep these records for pride. We kept them so someone would understand. We didn't kill them because we were evil. We killed them because something else was coming. The holograms shifted. Now they showed darkness. Not the absence of light. Something else. Something that moved between stars. Something that fed on minds. The images were old. Damaged. But Vexkel saw enough. Shapes without bodies. Hungry. Patient. The human voice said, it came before. Long before our oldest stories. It ate the minds of every intelligent species it found. We were the only ones who noticed. The only ones who fought back. Vexkel watched as the holograms showed humans doing terrible things. Not to enemies. To themselves. To their own children. Rituals of pain. Wars with no purpose. Cruelty as medicine. Because the darkness could not eat what was already broken. We became the dark side, said the voice. We made ourselves too toxic to consume. But it cost us. Every other thinking species on Earth had to go. The darkness could use them as doors into our world. So we closed the doors. One by one. With fire and stone and patience. Not because we hated them. Because we loved our children more. The red light faded. The voice grew softer. You are an alien. We guessed you would come after we were gone. Do not judge us until you have faced what we faced. We did not survive because we were strong. We survived because we were sick in a way that saved us. The holograms died. The vault went quiet. Vexkel stood alone among the bones. Its four legs trembled. It had come to judge humanity as monsters. Now it did not know what to think. One question burned in its mind. What was that darkness? And was it still hungry? The holograms inside the vault flickered back to life. Vexkel had not touched anything. The machine was choosing to show more. A new voice began to speak. Older than the first. Rougher. A human woman. She called herself Memory Keeper of the Broken Tribe. You want to know how it started, she said. So we will show you. The air filled with images. Not humans yet. The world was different. Hotter. Greener. Giant beasts walked the land. And there were many kinds of human-like people. Some tall. Some short and strong. Some with thick bones and heavy jaws. They lived apart. They did not fight much. There was enough food for everyone. Then the sky changed. Vexkel saw it. A dark cloud that was not a cloud. It moved against the wind. It had no shape but also too many shapes. It fell over the land like a slow scream. The memory keeper called it the hollow hunger. It came from the cold places between stars, she said. It had no body. It had only hunger. And it fed on fear. The images showed what the hunger did. A Neanderthal family hiding in a cave. They felt something watching. Something inside their own minds. Fear grew. Not normal fear. Hot fear. Sticky fear. Fear that ate thoughts. The mother stopped sleeping. The father started screaming at shadows. The children forgot how to speak. Within one moon cycle, they were all dead. Not killed. Unmade. Their minds had been eaten from inside. Vexkel watched similar scenes again and again. Denisovans in a forest. Gone in weeks. A small island people with tiny bodies. Gone in days. The hunger got faster each time. It learned. Soon only one kind of human remained. The ones who would become modern humans. They were not the strongest. Not the fastest. But they had something else. They had a strange way of thinking. They could look at fear and get angry instead of running. The memory keeper said, "We did not know we were special. We only knew we were scared. So we did what scared animals do. We fought." The holograms showed early humans huddled around fires. They were shaking. Crying. The hunger was near. They could feel it pressing against their minds like cold water. But one woman stood up. She picked up a sharp rock. She cut her own arm. The pain was bright. It pushed the fear back for one breath. She did it again. Others watched. Then a man picked up a burning stick and held it to his chest. He did not scream. He laughed. The hunger pulled back. It did not like this. It did not understand. "We discovered something by accident," said the memory keeper. The hunger fed on pure fear. Clean fear. But our fear was never clean. We mixed it with rage. With pain. With madness we made on purpose. When we hurt ourselves or each other, our fear became poison. The images grew darker. Humans began doing terrible things to themselves. Ritual cutting. Bone breaking. Long dances until feet bled. They made wars between tribes that had no reason. They killed their own kind and wore the bones. Not because they were evil. Because every time they did these things, the hunger screamed and moved away. Vexkel felt sick, but it kept watching. A young human boy appeared in the holograms. He was crying. His tribe had just beaten him as part of a ritual. His back was covered in blood. But his eyes were not sad. They were hard. "It hurts," he said. "But the dark thing hates the hurt more than I do. So I give it the hurt. I give it all the hurt. Until it chokes." The memory keeper spoke one last time. "We did not plan to become this way. The dark side was not a weapon we built. It was a wound that healed wrong. A sickness that saved us. The hunger could not eat us because we were already eating ourselves. And in that terrible balance, we survived." The holograms showed the hunger finally leaving. It drifted back toward the stars. Confused. Angry. Starving. Humans watched it go. They did not cheer. They just sat in the ashes of their own rituals and bled quietly. "That was the first darkness," said the memory keeper. "And it never left us. It lives in every human still. The thing that saved our species became our curse. But without it, there would be no humans at all. Remember that before you call us evil." The image faded. Vexkel stood in silence. The bones under the glass floor seemed to whisper. Not with voices. With memory. The Corinth archivist understood something terrible now. Humanity had not become dark by choice. They had become dark because the universe sent a monster, and only monsters could survive it. The vault showed a new scene. Not a recording this time. A memory so old it had become almost like a dream. Vexkel saw a large cave. Torches on the walls. And sitting in a circle were the oldest humans the archivist had ever seen. Their skin was gray with age. Their eyes were white with blindness. But their voices were strong. These were the ones who made the choice. The memory keeper from before was there too, now young again. She sat at the center. "After the hunger left," she said, "we had a long quiet. Thousands of years without fear-eating monsters. We grew in number. We spread across the land. And we met the others." The holograms showed humans finding other thinking people. Neanderthals in the north. Denisovans in the east. A small hairy people on an island. At first, humans traded with them. Shared food. Learned their languages. But something was wrong. Every time humans came close to these others, The humans felt a cold touch at the back of their minds. The hunger was not gone. It was waiting, far away, asleep. But it could feel other minds. Any thinking mind was a door. The more doors that existed on Earth, the easier it would be for the hunger to come back. A blind old man in the cave spoke. His name was Tor. I have seen the future in my dreams, he said. The hunger returns. Not in my lifetime. Not in my children's. But one day, and if there are many thinking species on Earth, it will eat through them like fire through dry grass. Then it will reach us, and we will all die. A young warrior woman stood up. Her name was Run. So what do we do? Kill the others? They have done nothing wrong. Tor nodded slowly. His blind eyes seemed to see anyway. Yes, that is exactly what we do. The cave fell silent. Vexkel watched as human faces twisted with pain. No one wanted this, but no one could find another way. Ren slammed her fist against the cave wall. There must be another path. We can warn them. We can teach them to be like us, to use pain as a shield. The memory keeper shook her head. We tried. The Neanderthals cannot learn our way. Their minds are too gentle. When they feel fear, they freeze. They do not fight. They do not turn pain into poison. It is not their fault. They are simply different. Kinder. Better than us, maybe. But kindness will not stop the hunger. Another elder spoke. An old woman called Scylla. She had been a healer before she lost her hands in a fire. I have watched the Denisovans sing to their dead. I have seen the little island people dance with flowers in their hair. They are beautiful, and they will die terribly when the hunger returns. We cannot save them, but we can give them a quick death, and we can close the doors forever. Rin was crying now. Big tears ran down her strong face. So we become monsters. We kill every other thinking being on Earth. We make ourselves alone, and that is supposed to be good. Tor stood up. He walked to Run and touched her face with his wrinkled hands. It is not good, he said. It is terrible, but it is the only way. We do not carry the darkness because we want to. We carry it because no one else can. That is the great bargain. We become the lonely species. We kill every other mind, and when the hunger returns, it finds only us. One door, one lock, and we have already made ourselves too sick to eat. The council voted. Vexkel watched each elder raise a hand. Some were shaking. Some were steady. All were crying. The vote was yes. The memory keeper stood last. So it is decided. From this day forward, humanity walks alone. We will hunt every other thinking creature to extinction. We will burn their cities and scatter their bones. Not because we hate them, because we love our children and our children's children. We will carry the darkness so no other mind ever feeds the hunger again. The holograms changed. Vexkel saw centuries pass like heartbeats. Humans hunting Neanderthals not with weapons but with patience. Taking their women, poisoning their water, pushing them into smaller and smaller lands until none remained. The Denisovans gone in 100 years. The little island people gone in 50. Each death recorded. Each extinction mourned in songs that no one would ever sing out loud. The final image showed a human family standing on a hill. Below them lay the bones of the last non-human thinker on Earth. A small creature that had once laughed and dreamed and loved the stars. Now silent forever. The father held his daughter close. We are alone now, he said. And we will stay alone. That is our burden. That is our bargain. The vault went dark. Vexkel realized it was crying. Quaranth did not have tear ducts, but a liquid leaked from its eye stalks anyway. The archivist looked down at the bones under the glass floor. They were not just animals, not just enemies. They were sacrifices. Every single one. And humanity had made itself the executioner, so the universe would not have to watch them all die screaming when the hunger returned. Vexkel whispered to the dark. What kind of species chooses to be the monster so others can rest in peace? The vault did not answer. But somewhere deep in the old metal, something hummed. Like a heartbeat. Like a ghost. Like a memory that refused to die. The vault's next recording showed a time closer to the end. Humans had left Earth. They lived on metal worlds around distant stars. They had machines that thought. Ships that moved faster than light. But they had not forgotten the old fear. They had built it into everything. Vexkel saw a human woman in a gray uniform. Her name was Commander Eris. She stood on a bridge of a starship. Behind her, a screen showed Earth. Small. Blue. Fragile. It came back, Eris said. Just like the old one said it would. The hologram shifted. Vexkel saw the darkness again. The hollow hunger. But bigger now. fatter. It had been eating other species in other parts of the galaxy. Small ones. Weak ones. Now it was strong. And it had heard humanity's noise. Humanity had grown loud. Billions of minds thinking, feeling, fearing. The hunger could not resist. It turned toward human space like a hungry animal smelling blood. Eris spoke to her crew. We cannot run. It will follow us anywhere. We cannot hide. It feels fear through walls and across light years. There is only one way. The old way. The dark way. The crew did not argue. They had been raised on stories of the first darkness. They knew what had to be done. Vexkel watched as humanity prepared for war. But not with weapons. Not with bombs or lasers. They built virtual worlds. Digital hells. Inside these machines, humans volunteered to suffer. Not real suffering. Simulated. But the mind could not tell the difference. A simulated burn hurt as much as a real one. A simulated scream was just as loud. Millions of humans entered the virtual hells. They let machines hurt them in ways that had no names. They experienced every fear, every pain, every nightmare. But they did not break. They were told to turn the pain into something else. Coldness, emptiness, a smile that meant nothing. Commander Eris explained it to her officers. The hunger eats fear, clean fear, the kind that makes you cry and beg. But we are not giving it that. We are feeding it our fear after we have cooked it in rage, after we have frozen it in hate, after we have made it so ugly that the hunger will choke. The hunger arrived at the edge of human space. It touched the first human mind, a soldier named Kale. Kale did not scream. He laughed. The hunger was confused. It touched deeper. It found not fear but a wall of old pain. Pain that had been saved for this moment. Pain that had been sharpened like a knife. Kale spoke into the dark. Welcome to hell. We built it just for you. The hunger tried to pull away. It could not. The human minds around it were not food. They were traps. Every fear the hunger tried to eat was mixed with cruelty, with calculated hate, with memories of every extinction humanity had caused, every Neanderthal child killed, every Denisovan village burned. All that guilt had been saved, aged, turned into poison. The hunger screamed. For the first time in its endless existence, it felt something new. Not fear. It could not feel fear. But something close. Something like choking. Like eating glass. Humanity did not stop. They poured more into the virtual hells. 10 million volunteers. Then 100 million. Then 1 billion. Each one feeding the hunger a river of poisoned fear. The creature thrashed. It tried to flee back to the cold places between stars. But the human minds held it. They had become a net made of nightmares. Commander Eris gave the final order. Now, push. Every human in the simulation focused at once. They did not send love or hope or peace. They sent the darkest thing they had, the memory of the great bargain, the look in a mother's eyes when she agreed to kill an innocent species, the sound of a child crying as the last Neanderthal died. All of it, all the guilt, all the shame, all the cold, calculated cruelty that had kept humanity alive for 100,000 years. The hunger tore apart, not with a bang, with a wet, silent collapse, like a rotten fruit finally falling. Its pieces scattered into nothing. It did not die. It was unmade, erased from reality, as if it had never been. But the psychic backlash was terrible. A wave of dark energy exploded outward from human space. It crossed the galaxy in an instant. Everywhere it touched, non-human minds simply stopped. Animals dropped dead. Insects fell from the sky. Fish floated to the surface of every sea. On Earth, every living thing that was not human died in the same second. Dogs, cats, birds, whales, trees with slow thoughts. Even the tiny thinking fungi deep underground. All gone. Humans lived. Their minds had been hardened by centuries of dark rituals. The backlash bounced off them like water off stone. But they felt it. Every human in the galaxy felt the wave pass through them. And they knew what it meant. Commander Eris stood on her bridge. Around her, the screens showed a galaxy gone silent. No animal sounds. No alien thoughts. Just humans. Alone again. More alone than ever. She looked at her hands. They were steady. She wished they would shake. It worked, she whispered. We won. The hunger is dead. And we have nothing left to protect. The vault grew quiet. The last hologram flickered and died. Vexkel stood alone among the bones and the old machines. The archivist's 4 legs ached. Its mind felt heavy, like someone had poured cold mud inside its head. But something was wrong. The vault had shown humanity's past. It had not shown their end. Where were the bodies? Where were the last human records? Vexkel walked deeper into the vault. Past walls of screens. Past floors of glass and bones. At the very back, a small door waited. No lock. No handle. Just a push plate with one word. Alone. Vexkel pushed. The door opened. Inside was a small room. Empty except for a single screen and a chair. The screen was dark. The chair was dust. But on the chair sat a small metal box. Vexkel opened it. Inside was a data crystal. Red. Still glowing. The archivist placed the crystal into the screen. Light filled the room. A human face appeared. Not old like the memory keeper. Not hard like Commander Eris. This face was calm. Almost peaceful. A young man with gray eyes and no expression at all. You made it, he said. Good. I am the last voice. My name is Solon. And I am not dead. Vexkel stepped back. Not dead? Then where were the humans? Solon continued. After the hunger died, we could not stay as we were. The backlash had killed every non-human mind in the galaxy. Animals. Aliens. Everything. We were alone. Truly alone. And we realized something terrible. Our dark side had no purpose anymore. Without the hunger, we were just cruel. Just broken. Just monsters with no reason to exist. The image shifted. Vexkel saw humans building something. Not a ship. Not a weapon. A machine. A huge machine that looked like a sleeping face. A face with closed eyes and a small smile. We decided to change, Solon said. Not to die. To transcend. We built the dream engine. It removed our ability to feel strong emotions. Fear. Rage. Hate. But also love. Joy. Hope. All of it. We became quiet. Empty. Peaceful. We spread across the galaxy in small ships. We do not build empires. We do not fight wars. We simply watch. Vexkel watched as the holograms showed human ships drifting between stars. Silent. Dark. Inside each one, a human sat in a chair. Eyes open. Breathing slow. Feeling nothing. We are the custodians now, Solon said. We watch over the young species of the galaxy. The ones who were born after the hunger died. We protect them from threats they cannot see. But we never contact them. We never speak. Because our dark side is not gone. It sleeps inside the dream engine. If we ever feel strongly again, it will wake up. And we might become monsters once more. Solon paused. His gray eyes seemed to look right at Vexkel. You are a Corinth. You came looking for answers. Here is the final one. No species survived our dark side. Not the Neanderthals. Not the Denisovans. Not the animals of Earth. Not the aliens we might have met. That was the point. We killed or silenced everything, so the hunger would have nothing to eat. Better us alone than everyone corrupted. Better us empty than everyone dead. The screen showed one last line of text. Big letters. White on black. No species survived our dark side. That was the point. Better us alone than everyone corrupted. Then Solon's face returned. He smiled. A small smile. The first emotion Vexkel had seen on him. Do not look for us. We will not answer. Do not try to save us. We do not want to be saved. And do not try to be like us. Our path was pain. Nothing else. Be grateful you cannot walk it. The screen went dark. The crystal cracked. It would never play again. Vexkel stood for a long time. The archivist's mind raced. Humanity was not extinct. They were everywhere. Drifting between stars. Watching. Waiting. Empty. The thought was worse than death. At least death ended. This was forever. Slowly, Vexkel turned and walked out of the small room. Out of the vault. Out into the gray earth sky. The silence was the same as before. But now the archivist understood it. That silence was not death. It was a choice. A billion choices. Every human choosing to feel nothing, so the galaxy could live. Vexkel returned to its ship. It opened a channel to the Corinth Collective. I have found the humans, it said. They are not dead. But they are gone. Leave them alone. And send this warning to every young species in the galaxy. The archivist recorded the message. Short. Clear. Final. Do not try to be like humans. Their dark side saved them. But it also destroyed everything they loved. Be grateful you cannot do what they did. Be grateful you are weak enough to be kind. And never, ever look for them. They are watching. They have always been watching. Let them watch alone. Vexkel sent the message. Then the archivist looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a human in a small ship stared back with empty eyes. No hate. No love. No fear. Just duty. Just memory. Just the lonely victory of a species that had saved the galaxy by losing itself. Vexkel whispered to the dark. You poor, terrible, beautiful monsters. Rest now. You have earned it. The stars did not answer. They never did.